Hello, welcome or welcome back to my channel, Knits by Mandy. My name is Amanda and today we are doing a very chill, cozy knit and chat from my childhood bedroom. Over on Instagram, I asked if y'all had any questions for me or any topics you'd like me to cover in this video. Before we dive into all of those, this video is sponsored by Book of the Month, so let's hear a word from our sponsor. Thank you to this video's sponsor, Book of the Month. If you've been around on my channel, you know that I love to give media recommendations, but sometimes it's nice to receive those from another source. That's where Book of the Month comes in. Book of the Month's mission is to help readers discover new books that they love and to promote new and emerging authors. They also just released audiobooks, so now you can download audiobooks directly through their app and you can have the choice between new hardcover fiction or an audiobook. There is now a lot of noise to cut through on the internet when it comes to getting a good book recommendation, and I love that Book of the Month has an editorial board review hundreds of new titles each month to provide you with a list of new hardcover fiction by emerging authors. When I pick books, I like to pick something that I would usually pick and then something that is a little bit different for me. First book I picked is a romance novel, which definitely falls into the category of something I would usually pick, and it's called This Spells Love by Kate Raw. In this book, the main character casts a spell on her ex, and she has to find some creative ways to reverse it. Combination of witchcraft and romance novel is really exciting to me, so I'm excited to dive into this. The next book is a bit of a departure from a book I would normally choose. This is called The Last Love Note by Emma Gray. It's about a woman who's actively grieving and processing the death of her husband. I saw really good reviews about this, so I'm excited to laugh and also cry while reading this one. If you're interested in being able to choose from a curated list of books every month, I'd recommend that you check out Book of the Month. Right now, you can get $5 off your first book with the code 4U and using the link in my description. Thank you again to Book of the Month for sponsoring this video. Like I said, we are in my childhood bedroom. I'm home for the Thanksgiving holiday, which is so exciting, and it feels kind of weird to be filming here. It is around evening time, so this lighting's just going to be strange, but that is the reality we're dealing with daylight savings and also trying to work and film. This room has had many lives in the past. Right behind me, I used to have a pretty large collage dedicated to the Jonas Brothers, and I also had at one point like a really bright Smurf blue painting with big brown Hawaiian flowers behind me, and then you can't see my closets, and there used to be shelves up, but they were lime green with lime green curtains. So we've come a long way. My parents have just kind of made this into a guest room now. I don't have a twin bed in here anymore. It's like a whole big bed. Just a little walk down memory lane. There's even some like of my old knitting stuff here. It's honestly not that exciting. I was like, oh, maybe I'll show them, but it's just like old scraps of acrylic yarn and Joanne Fabrics knitting needles, so nothing anyone hasn't seen before if you like knitting. Let's get into it. Right now I'm knitting. I'm going to try to be ambitious and knit and chat while working on one of my sleeves for the folklore cardigan. I can't really walk and chew gum at the same time, so we'll see how that goes, and if that is showing too complicated, I'm gonna move over to my solo scarf by caidree. I've been working on this kind of off and on. I haven't posted about this yet, but I need to. Scarf that uses knitting and purling to create this fun stripe, and I'm knitting this in some gifted yarn. This is the Originally Lovely Lana in the colorway Merlot. So you might see me switch if I am like, I'm tripping over myself and not knitting things correctly. A lot of repeat questions were about if I am gift knitting this year, and I actually am, and I talked about this in one of my podcast episodes. One of my family members is expecting and they're due around February, so I wanted to get some knitted gifts done for the bebe for Christmas. We're actually having the baby shower while I'm home. I just like didn't have enough time from when I had bought the yarn, so I'm planning on giving them as Christmas gifts. So what I'm working on is a baby sweater. I'm using the pattern Good Old Raglan, and just to make a very basic striped baby sweater, and then I want to also try to make the sweetshop blanket baby blanket size. I am feeling kind of under the gun already, and we're more than a month out from Christmas, so we'll see how it all goes. I really want to finish the folklore cardigan. I am on the first sleeve, so I still have a little bit of work to be done, and I would like to like have basically everything off my needles for the new year. We'll see how that goes. That is what I am working on as far as gift knitting. I was wearing my Harlow v-neck the other day and my mom really liked it. So that might be something I make for her. I told her, I was like, the baby is taking precedent over you. It's a little too late to get a sweater requested. But maybe her birthday's in like the spring, so maybe for Mother's Day or her birthday, that might be something I cast on. I have not knit my mother a sweater. I think I just made her scarves when I was younger. And then she had also complimented my Sophie shawl. It's made out of an MCN yarn, merino cashmere nylon. Very flowy, very light, very drapey, and I think she really liked that. We're both ladies that run hot. I think some of the things I wear are a little too woolly for her, but she really liked that. So I think in an ideal world I'd be able to make that for her for Christmas, but I just don't think that's gonna happen. And that's okay. So that's what I'm focusing on this year. I'm really excited to be knitting for the baby. This is like our family's first new generation, so it's like a big deal, and I kind of want to set a precedent of knitting for the babies. My grandma would do that, and I just want to carry on that tradition. So that will be my main focus, other than finishing this frickin' sweater, which has been taking me what feels like a really, really long time. I'm gonna ask if I'm already planning for next year or starting to think about it, and I can't say that I am. Like, I already feel like I am behind on things that I wanted to cast on in the fall, so I honestly am not thinking about plans for next year yet, so that will come hopefully. Usually when the new year comes, I tend to channel some pretty creative energy, so looking forward to doing that. Right now, I have not really been in that place, honestly, probably since August, so yeah, we're kind of just like moving steadily along right now, not looking too much further ahead as far as future plans go. And someone also asked me if I still believe in the sweater curse, and I actually knit my boyfriend a sweater, and he's literally in the next room, so things are going so well. So far so good. I got knit one for him last summer. It's actually one of the first process blogs I did on this channel, and people have told me they really like the process vlogs. Keep an eye out for those, I suppose. I need to start a new one. I'm looking for a stitch marker. I literally brought all my whips here. But yeah, so far so good. I don't think I do believe in the sweater curse. I've been literally pulling them off of my existing panels, but this is what I have so far. This is chaotic. This is chaotic. Anyway, yeah, these are all my panels. This is the back panel, and then I have the front panels done. So we're getting there. We're getting there. Oh, here we go. I know I found one. I don't believe in it. I don't want to, test fate. I don't think you should worry too much about it. I think it's all about knowing that the person that you're making for, like, at least has some appreciation for what you do. I know that and my partner does. To me, there's only a certain level of appreciation someone that doesn't make things with their hands can have. Like, it can be very high, but it's still not like the same as I have it. Like, I'm always going to be more invested in it than them, which is completely fine. I do believe in being judicious with your gift knitting though. I think that's very important and a good reminder this time of year. It's like, really, I'm not going to call it selfish knitting because that's silly. Just making sure you knit for people that you think will appreciate it. And I don't think there's anything wrong also with like just having conversations with people, being very upfront about, hey, like, what colors do you want? What size do you want? I have your measurements. Things like that, just to make sure like it's a positive experience and they'll like the finished object. I think that's fine. Don't let anyone feel like you're being selfish this holiday season for enjoying your hobby and not knitting for other people. Sometimes it is just easier to buy them a gift. And not everyone wants a hand knit kit, and that's okay. That is fine by me. Someone asked if I would do a knit along, a cal, and make weekly progress videos. I'm not sure if this was like a video idea or a question to ask me, but we can talk about it. I have actually not participated in a cal. I did see that Knit Hip Hooray, the user on Instagram, her handle is Knit Hip Hooray, and she has knit all these amazing, like gorgeous Christmas ornaments and made a video about it too. I'll link it below. And I definitely want to hop in on that make along. I made Christmas ornaments last year, and it is kind of just a fun way to get into the spirit without having to knit like an entire holiday sweater. I think one day I would love to have one that I can just wear every Christmas. I made ornaments last year, and those were actually like really easy gift knits, um, and you don't feel like you put in so much time into something, and I felt like, you know, people would put them on their tree, and I wouldn't know otherwise if they didn't. I would definitely join the ornament make along. As far as weekly progress videos, maybe that's more like, I don't know if that's more in reference to kind of like mystery knit alongs. I don't really see myself getting into that. I don't think I like the mystery. Maybe one day, maybe if I like completely shift into a process knitter, but I don't think I would enjoy that so much. Maybe I would. Who knows? I would never say never. That's not something that's top of mind. I do really like, in general, shooting progress videos. I have not really been in that mental space recently. Would maybe like to do one before, you know, for Q4. Do try to do once a quarter. But yeah, that's where I am kind of with my video making. It has been a funky few months for sure, and excited just for the holiday season and just as like a time to slow down. I know they can often be stressful, but I also like the slowness that comes with winter, so I'm looking forward to leaning into that for sure, and that kind of reflection of the year. Anyway, long answer to if I would do a cow. Okay, someone is mowing their lawn. I will try to edit as much as I can. We're in the suburbs, baby. Someone asked, how is knitting with Sassy? My cat ends up nibbling on way too much yarn. Yes, if she's in a playful mood, I can tell she definitely wants to play with my yarn, and I will channel that with one or two ways. I will channel that as her being like, hey, I want to play right now, and just play with some of her toys. Like she does have some toys that she does like to play with, a few balls and like string on yarn, or I will honestly just give her some strap yarn and tell her to go out at it. Although like cats can eat yarn, and like that can really mess up their digestive system. I know she's not really like a eater, but I would just note that it's probably not like recommended. I'm not a vet. That's how I deal with her. I wish she's staying with my boyfriend's parents back in the DMV area. I miss her a lot, but yeah, she can be a little annoying sometimes when it comes to the knitting, but she really isn't that bad. Like she will fully let me like sit in my lap and let me just like have my knitting kind of draping over her. For some reason, she has really taken a liking to the folklore sweater in particular. I mean, I've had her since February, have been knitting since then. I think there's something about this texture and the yarn, honestly, that she really likes. And so I have just kind of like left these out on the couch, and I will catch her laying on these. I just think that's really cute. But I'm gonna have to be very careful once I actually have the full sweater. She might be obsessed with me, which I wouldn't be mad at because I love snuggling with her because she's the best. I really like these two questions. One is, do you have any knitting rituals or routines? And then how do you balance your knitting hobby with other aspects of your life? I really like that question. As far as routine goes, I'm not a really religious routine person. It's just like not my personality, although sometimes I wish I could be. I was toying with the idea of maybe getting up early in the morning to have like morning knitting and, I don't know, music time or podcast time. I haven't done that. It's just like a pipe dream. Because I also always feel like there's so many other things I want to do in the morning, like get my body moving, and knitting is obviously sedentary. I do enjoy knitting in the evening to unwind. I would say my closest thing to a routine is if I have free time on a weekend when I'm home, like I will definitely be making sure I have time to sit with my laptop in bed and knit and just watch YouTube videos or watch like Netflix or my shows or something like that. And I find that just extremely relaxing. I also like being able to catch up with other knitting YouTubers and feel connected in that way, because it's one thing to post, but then you're just kind of sending it out there. So it's very, if I feel like I'm not watching videos, I feel like I'm not connecting in that way. So I like to make a routine of doing that when I can. It's a balanced way, I think, to look at it. I honestly just wish I could knit all day. I've been having just all the thoughts and feels while at work, just being like, I wish I could just be doing this and creating all day, but that doesn't necessarily pay the bills. So far, so good on not missing anything while I'm knitting the sleeve, but I feel like it is taking me a little longer to think. As far as reality television goes, you know, one of our favorite subtopics here on the channel, I thought we could just kind of go through what I'm watching and chat about it. We haven't done a chat in a while. So I'll go through what I'm watching. I never give you my final thoughts on Real Housewives of New York, and I think that just kind of speaks to my final feelings about the show. It just feels like it needs some work. It needs to be fully formed. I will probably watch the next season, but with a very skeptical eye. I messed up that. I did mess up. I did make a mistake. I am watching Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. I am also like, is this season going to be good? I don't love when a housewife's whole plotline is her divorce and her marital issues. Although the Mauricio of it all is quite an interesting downfall of a Bravo husband. I think it's fair to say Mauricio, Kyle Richards' husband, was very lusted after. He was probably known as one of the more attractive husbands, I think, that people like actually kind of crushed on, but now I don't know, seeing their dynamic is just kind of strange. But I'm actually enjoying Kyle for the first time. So maybe that says something. And I have not actually watched the most recent episode where she and Sutton are fighting about what happened in Vegas. And Sutton's like, name them, name them, name them. So I can't give you my full input. I know a lot of people are falling off the Sutton train. I kind of like watching someone break down like that. Am I sick? Maybe. I am also loving Dorit's confessionals. I like Dorit being funny. I don't know. I'm loving me some Dorit. Like, I get this really interesting, like, maternal energy from her. I kind of want Dorit to be my mom. I feel like she would just be a really good mom. I feel like she really loves her kids. And it's sweet. DK's freaking weird. So we'll see what happens on Beverly Hills in a post-Kathy Hilton world. We'll see who really kind of anchors the show this season. I'm also watching Real Housewives of Potomac, which is one of my favorite, if not my favorite franchise. I missed the new episode. Today's Monday. I missed it on Sunday. But so far, I'm enjoying it. Like, anytime Karen Huger's on my screen, like, I'm really not going to be mad. Anytime Candace Dillard Bassett is on my screen, I'm not going to be mad. I think Mia is ridiculous, but she adds like a very scammy, unstable energy to the show that I'm enjoying. I'm living for Ashley Darby's beach house in the city. I love that for Ashley Darby. Yeah, all steam ahead on Real Housewives of Potomac. I am enjoying that. Oh, Salt Lake. How could I forget about Salt Lake? And I've seen people say this, is it almost reads like a parody of a Real Housewives show, and I couldn't agree more. There's so many things on that show that you just couldn't write. Obviously the Jen Shaw of it all, I don't think a producer couldn't dream that in their most largest fantasy. You can't produce, you can't direct and script two grown women fighting over a sound bath. Like, you can't make that up, and I think that's beautiful. It is astounding Lisa Barlow's inability to bring herself up in every single conversation that she has, and like her inability to talk about other people or even begin to empathize with them is astounding. I think her son genuinely hates her, which is sad. I think it's strange how involved Heather Gay is with this 18-year-old boy's life choices, which I think is also sad for her. I think it just kind of speaks to where she is in her own journey. I was skeptical about having Mary back on the show. I think in whatever capacity she's in is like fine. She's not really getting in the mix. Okay, like she has Heather over, and Heather, she just tells her that she thinks she looks inbred, which is wild. You can tell that all those women fear her deeply, except for Whitney, who is kind of having a flop season, and I wish she was having a better one. It's been due time for her to really kind of like evolve and metamorphize into a kind of all-star knockout housewives. I would say it's time for her to have the kind of season that Meredith Marks is having right now. I want that for her. I just don't know like how many more chances she's gonna get to do that. I do think that she is always talking about Meredith so much because she's like deeply in love with her. Like cue Janice Ian from Mean Girls being like, you have a fat lesbian crush on me. Like I think that's what is going on with Whitney and Meredith, and I would like to see it. I would like to see that. Anyone else? Just me? Okay. Those are my shows that I'm watching right now. My hairdresser was telling me to watch House of Villains, and I would love to do that. Someone asked me if I had watched Love is Blind. I tried. I opened my laptop and I was like, okay, new season of Love is Blind, here we go. And then I saw Vanessa and Nick Lachey, and I was like, I actually physically can't do this. And it didn't seem good. I did not get like must-watch vibes from Love is Blind this season. I've given up on Love is Blind for now, unless there is a must-watch season to come out. Oh, I did watch Selling Sunset. The thing about Selling Sunset, I have never seen a show in all of my seasoned years of watching reality television, and I'd love to hear if anyone thinks there are any parallels where there has been such like one strong character. Like I think Rochelle is the only person anchoring that cast. It's the strongest personality, I think, while also being the most likable and charismatic and like magnetic, and everyone else is so blah, you know? I think the drama between her and Amanza this season was really strange, and I really don't like Amanza's defense of Nicole during the reunion. Like, what does that serve? Like, to what point? Amanza's coming from a place of like insecurity and like everyone needs to be together, but it's toxic positivity to where it's a detriment to most of the people involved. Sure, the beef between Chelsea and Brie is fine. Like, it's a little compelling, sure, but just like nothing stacks up to Chrishell. The way that Chrishell just like bodied Mary Lou once in the show and then again in the reunion, they brought Mary Lou out for like 2 seconds and then she left. Like, the cast of Selling OC got more time than Mary Lou. The polygraph technician got more screen time than Mary Lou. Like, she was done. She was out of here. I know she also wasn't dating Jason at the time either. Like, she did not bring it. I mean, she was playing the minor leagues with Chrishell. And don't get me started on Nicole. Nicole really pisses me off because after Christine Quinn, the show really needed a good villain, and I will talk briefly on who we all know who the real villain of this show is. I feel like Nicole came in and she wanted to do that, and she wanted to be like, I've been around here so long, I'm a part of the OGs, and that was the whole thing with Chrishell and Christine too, was Chrishell was the new girl and like Nicole was playing that again. But Nicole just happens to be the most unarticulate villain I've ever seen on television, and she's not charismatic or magnetic. She doesn't have any of those effects that like pull you to a person. One of my friends calls it sparkle. Like, Chrishell has sparkle, Nicole has none. She's so dull and like so weird. And Amanda, why are you defending someone whose husband texted you that? That's like energy vampire stuff. Let's touch briefly. Well, first, I also thought it was very interesting that in the reunion, Brett, who did not speak the entire reunion other than to be like, Nicole has dramatically changed her personality because of how much she doesn't like Rochelle. Let's talk about that for at least 45 minutes. Like, I need a deep dive on Brett. Like, what do you think is going on? I actually think I need to like lock Brett Oppenheim in a room and just like get all the information from him, because he's definitely like, he's taking it all in because he's not actively participating. And I need him, like, I need his thoughts on like, what do you think about your brother running a brokerage where he has slept with at least half of his staff, but then fosters this like gross toxic workplace culture where everyone's everyone's family? Yeah, because you've all swapped spit like somewhere down the line in the last decade. You all total freaks. Like, what? Don't know about the business of real estate, and like I don't know if what Mary was saying was true about the comps, but it kind of seems like they use the like, well, we're close and we use the connections and like da 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 da, like that's what makes this brokerage different. Like, they use all of that to rationalize to themselves how they're not making as much money at other brokerages. Now, that's my guess. I don't really know anything about comps in real estate, especially real estate of that value, so I could be wrong, but that was my takeaway. Yeah, I mean, obviously the real villain, like, just like dates all these women and then lets them fight with each other, and he's like, I don't understand why there's so much drama. I don't know, maybe because you dated with all of your employees and then you continue to employ them. Maybe that is one part of it, sir. Maybe you have one active piece in this. Those are my thoughts on Selling Sunset. I liked this season. I thought it was good. Reunion always needs a little bit of work, but such is the case for Bravo or non-Bravo reunions. I think really anyone struggles doing it like Andy Cohen can, and I stand by that. I love Tan France, but he's too nice. And I think what makes the dynamic of Andy Cohen work so well, talk about a toxic, like unhealthy workplace, is that he is technically their boss. So they all want to curry favor with Andy Cohen. And they all, if they are not his friend, they like fear him a little. And I think you need that little bit of like respect. That kind of dynamic if you want a successful reunion, because like you can't have a host that's fawning over the guests because you're not going to get the good information. So Netflix still has, I think, a far way to come with its reality television, but those are my thoughts. Wow, I had way more to say about that than I thought. I am playing with the idea. I know I was just talking about earlier in the video process vlogs and things like that. I really think I want to do some kind of nod to Vlogmas this year. One, as a way to kind of just like get into the spirit of the holidays, and two, I don't know, I think that might just be like a fun kind of different content to put out, or maybe some, I know like Knitted by Whitney last year, she did weekly vlogs. I definitely won't do like a daily vlog. That's just, I honestly don't even think my life's that exciting for you to want to see that. And I don't do enough like knitting in one day for you to want to see that. But a weekly vlog I think could be really fun leading up to the holidays. So if that sounds interesting, let me know. If not, that's okay. I can still plan to try to do, at least one podcast episode next year, and then we'll get into, oh my goodness, we're getting into what I made this year season, next year's plan season. This is some of my favorite YouTube content season. It feels really like kind of crazy to be talking about Vlogmas sitting in my childhood bedroom, but yeah, I think that might be on deck for December. So let me know what y'all think. And yeah, that kind of concludes this video, and I will see y'all soon. Bye.